And I'll do this for now.
It was
How long you been
Yeah.
here? For me too.
You didn't tell us.
Hey, you know, I told you that thing I was giving you once.
So you've done it, you've done the,
They gave us one.
rock and roll.
No, I haven't. I just.
It's right there.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah. I looked at that. It was fun. We had a really good time. It is great.
That's a great. That's a good one.
You gotta stay focused and stay on one thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's a drum.
It's just the stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a juggler.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Right?
yeah, I mean, we
Well, I
run.
like, yeah.
And just
We
I
try
know
to
went
make
to, I was here, but I wasn't in person. I went short. Come over here, so I was like, I just told him I'm
very
sorry.
Because I saw down the 5K that
I just got my
happens
license
on the
back as
seaside.
a broker.
And it's wonderful to run on 30A and afterwards you go there rather
COVID-19,
than.
that's.
Oh, wow. How much does that cost?
Yeah,
I like a
so,
schedule.
you know, it's a,
Yeah.
Give me a schedule.
$125.
This is our teacher.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty average for.
Yeah, my t-shirts are really.
I'm a talker too, so
Yeah.
I like talking.
I get it from.
Gotta be a talker.
It's a platform called.
Rex.
Well, since you guys are, it looks like we pretty much have everyone here, can you guys introduce yourselves?
Sure. Yeah.
Start over here.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandon. I just got my license on Thursday.
Oh, congratulations.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're already an experienced
What
agent,
did I
you've had your
do
license
today?
for like 5 days.
It's not
Oh,
even.
yeah, wow.
Thank you.
Brandon,
Mary.
Brandon, what are you?
I got my
I
license
made
on
8
the
and 1.
Nice.
7th
Very
of
nice.
August.
Oh, good.
Okay.
How's it going so far?
Lots of learning.
It is.
It is.
Your head will blow up the first year.
Yes.
And
Let's just say the
embrace
first
it.
couple months, once you get
Embrace
into
it.
it.
Don't stress out about not remembering things either, because there's so much to remember that, and you've got, you know, your whole career to
It's just
keep
stuff I
continue to
can't-
improve and master all these different things, so work on
Some of
mastering
it.
something.
Stuff I can't figure out that drives me nuts.
Well, that's why you have lots of help around you.
Yes.
Ask.
Yes, ask for help.
I'm just, wanting to have a list and be in Marietta, actually.
Did you move over here?
No,
You're
I
commi-
mean,
you're
we just
commuting?
bought our house over there. I bought, sold a house
Oh
in
my
business, so I
gosh.
have a lot of experience.
Wow.
But I'm committing to Marietta, the Marietta and you guys.
Okay,
And
and
I
the
have my
market,
license.
or you're planning on doing your market over here as well?
I'm gonna do everything you guys tell me to do.
Okay, good. You gotta
Amen to
drive,
that.
I know, I've had listings, I
I
used to
don't
live
care,
in
you're the best
South
office, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you drive wherever the best is,
There you
right?
go. Yeah, and you know, with everything being on Zoom now, it's like you really could be at just about any office.
Yeah, you can.
I
And-
could.
and
I was
it's
gonna
okay.
do Zoom, but I had to bring my husband to the airport, but I like to get out and have a schedule. So,
Oops,
and I
sorry.
like this
Michael,
area.
again. This is somebody trying to recruit me to EXP.
Yay.
See?
So,
I'm Claire Smith.
hey Claire.
Hey, got my license last August,
Yeah,
but
like,
I didn't do
just-
anything with it or commit to anybody until I decided to come to the East Hub office 3 weeks ago.
And thank you for the champagne we
Oh,
brought
you're
over the
welcome.
weekend.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
She came to our trivia night and brought me a bottle of champagne, which was so sweet.
That's nice. Where was trivia, here?
It was in the
Pattie in
county
my backyard.
Well, dang, when do I get this schedule? I'll be
Yeah,
there.
you should get emails and everything, so
Excellent,
that you're on the.
excellent. Thank you so much.
You'll get connect.
Hello everyone, my name is Arshia. I got my license March 12th. I remember that specifically. That was a good day. Been in the real estate industry for a few years, but I'm happy. I came to this office. It was my first visit, and thanks to Kevin and the Jacksons. And I'm very pleased and happy to be here.
So Arshia and my son have been friends since they were like
Oh, really?
still taking
Oh,
naps.
isn't that great?
They went all through school together, so it was so fun when he started.
That's cool. I'm Irene Hall, and I am also a new agent, started in July with Keller Williams. So very excited to be here. I've actually been on the new home construction market, creative, but never sales.
Okay. Well, you know what? That'll come in really handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will.
So And especially, when you start, usually people don't immediately hire someone to market for them. So, that is one of the pieces, that, to kind of get you going. Okay, well, thank you. I'm Pattie Jackson and this is Lisa Swan. We have both been in this office for ages and ages. I've been here for about 17 years.
I've been here for almost 9 years.
Almost 9 years. So, yeah, Lisa, you came from another office, didn't you, or not? Or you still here?
No, I lived in Virginia.
Oh, okay, yeah, and Lisa has also a background on the other side of it,
Title.
with lending, with title, not lending. So she kind of came in with that expertise, which is nice. It's always nice, you bring your other strengths with you when you get into real estate. So anyway, she volunteered to be my seller. She's my buddy and we've known each other for a long time, so I knew that she would beat me up to bat on objections.
Just wait, hello to all the people.
Oh, that's right. Hello, TV land. Hello. Sorry about that. I forgot about that. So anyway, we are going to do this listing presentation. I have a coach, and actually a new coach, who is in this office even, Steve Hout, and he recommended that I be completely honest with you guys, which I always think is a great practice. And to be honest with you, my listing presentation has always been more of a consultation, which it really should be. I mean, you should be asking questions, and I don't know if I should stand to the side maybe, or.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I don't know. I can't really see you unless you're in the middle.
Okay, I have it in front of my head. But anyway, so Steve, I talked to Steve this morning. I said, I've never been a real scripted person when it comes to a listing presentation. I've always been more consultation. That is that you kind of go by the seat of your pants, and then 2 to 3 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. It's crazy. And my son always, Kevin is my son that y'all know if you don't know already. He is. And so he'll say, how long were you there today, Mom? And so, I try to keep it down, though when you don't have scripts, you just keep talking. And a lot of times you keep talking and not ask enough questions. So you guys, if I can give you the one most important piece of advice in starting your careers, learn the script. I mean, even if you change it up a little bit for yourself, learn what they teach you to start with, and then you can.
Oh, did you just say scripts?
Scripts, and then you can, you can make it your own. You don't have to say word for word. Just whatever you do want to make it, make sure that you just learn it from front to, so that if they interrupt you with a question, you get right back into your script. And the more you do it, the better you'll get, and you will eventually just do it so smoothly that it'll just be second nature to you, and it won't sound like a script at all. So, there we go. So anyway, we will get started, and with your permission, I will stop occasionally just to maybe kind of talk about where we're at in the script and why we're doing it. So, is that good? Sure. Yeah. It's better for me to have a chair because otherwise I pace. Lisa, okay, so we're going to start with the fact that, one thing that you do, have you guys all listened, has anybody listened to a listing presentation before?
Think so.
Okay, so, you go to the door, and actually, let me start with this. You get the listing appointment, and then what is recommended is that you actually call the person, when you make the appointment, say, do I have permission to call you back and just have a few minutes of a chat with you about, just to find out more information about your home, your goal, find out the details about their house. You ask them, have you done any updates? Oh, great. When did you do the updates? Blah, blah, blah. So you just ask them different questions. You find out about their motivation. That's the biggest key. Their motivation and why they're moving and how soon they need to be there. Ask them questions about the move and everything. So when you go to the house, and you also want to know if they're interviewing at least I do, if they're interviewing other agents. And I'll even ask them, if they say yes, and I'll say, oh, would you mind sharing with me who you're interviewing with or what companies? And so the good thing about knowing that is, for one, who your competition is. For two is that what their motivation is, because quite honestly, if they're not very motivated, it's probably not going to be so easy to sell their home, because they're not going to be realistic on price, and you might not even want to take the listing. So it's just good to know all those things. So then you get to the appointment and you ring the doorbell and
Hi.
hi, Lisa. It's so great to meet you in person.
Hi, Patty, come on in.
Oh, great. Well, thanks so much for having me. Hey, do you mind if I take a few minutes just to take a look around your house real quick?
Oh, that'd be great. I'll sit here and wait for you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, if you don't mind, and put my things at your kitchen table.
Oh, that's perfect.
You don't want to rattle your stuff around. So I bring a notepad around with me and I go ahead and take some just quick notes. I mean, you want them to think that you're, definitely interested in their home and that you're a detailed kind of person. So you take your notes and just take a few little notes, update the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. Thanks again for having me over. I really appreciate it. And your home is just lovely.
Oh, thank you, Patty.
I love what you guys did with the owner suite bathroom. Looks
Yeah,
like
that
you
was
just
quite a
updated it.
project. It was
Wow, it looks like it. It's really nice. And buyers love renovated, anything renovated, but especially kitchens and bathrooms. So we're gonna get started here. And so you did get the package that I dropped off at your house the other day.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Good. Did you get a chance to go through it at all?
I know. A
You
little
did
bit.
it.
A little
Okay, well, you
bit.
know what? I have it with me. So
Okay.
I will go ahead and we'll take a few minutes on that when we get to the marketing.
Okay, great.
So I need my water system.
So this is the package that she dropped off at the house the night before, the couple days before, I'm gonna pass it around.
Well, it's actually this and this, and I have I didn't bring the actual.
This is the pre-listing pack that we talk about all the time, so
This is the pre-listed.
this is a pre-listing pack,
Okay.
okay? And then she has some other stuff.
It's marketing, that's marketing enough.
I like her. Do you drop this off?
Okay, so what I do is,
Yes.
if you guys want to pass. We have these little houses that we put them in. They're little cardboard houses that we got from, and I bought them so long ago, I don't even know if they still have them, but Nashville Wraps
Uh-huh.
online. And it just kind of houses everything. So we put some little white stuffing in there and we put a treat in there for them, so whatever it is, we do Girl Scouts cookies during Girl Scout season. They don't have a long shelf life, so that's about 3 or 4 months. So we do a box of those. We do, I'll go to Trader Joe's and they have all kinds of cute little treats. So anyway, we'll put treats in there just to basically gives them something to munch on while we go through our package.
And how long in advance do you do that?
I do that, the goal is to do it at least 2 days before
Okay.
the appointment. If you do it too far in advance, I think they put it to the side and then they forget about it. So I like to do it kind of closer to when we're gonna meet. Sometimes it ends up being the day before and that's okay too. I think they don't, the high Cs, as you all know, the disc profile, the Ds will be like, eat the snack.
Yay.
You don't have to get the boxes back, right?
What?
You give them the box, the little.
I do, it's so fun. Lately, I think people are getting much more into decluttering because I've never had this happen until the last year or so. I've had 3 different people give me the box.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah,
great.
and they're like, we're throwing stuff out, so if you want to reuse this, I'm like, well, sure, I'm all about recycling.
Well, that made you feel real good, didn't it?
Yeah, so, anyway. I like the box. Yeah, it's really cute. We actually do a big wrapping over, you wouldn't be able to see very well, but we.
So you knock on the door and say, this is.
We do, I usually have Kevin do it,
Uh-huh.
to make it look like your team is on the ball with you and everything, so, yeah.
Perfect.
So anyway, we, so, and then we'll get into the marketing just a little bit.
Okay, great.
So,
Gotta clean that.
oh, it is.
That's beautiful.
You can have it.
Okay, so Lisa, again, thanks for having me, and it's so great to be here. And, I want to start with, I have 3 really important questions for you.
Okay.
One is, do you absolutely have to sell your home, or do you have other options?
No. We are moving to Texas. My husband is got a new job, and so we definitely need to sell this house. We
Okay.
can't purchase a house there
Okay.
unless we know this one's gonna sell.
Okay, and and as you said, he's already there working, so that's why he can't be here with us.
That's correct.
Okay, and and just so you know that I'm very available to him
Hold on.
to,
I suggest, guys, that you pay attention to what she's saying and then probably look at that later on. Cause the verbiage is very important. So I don't want you to miss that by
Okay,
looking at.
I'll start over, Jerry.
Okay.
So Lisa, thanks again for having me, and, you know, I'm really excited to get started and help you get your home sold. I have 3 important questions for you to begin.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's
And,
great.
so number 1 is, do you absolutely have to sell your home, or do you have
Yes.
other options?
No, we have to sell our home in order to buy a house in Texas. My husband has been,
Okay.
had a new job there, so.
Yeah, remember you told me that's why you can't be here, so, you know, and some people do different things like rent the home or whatever, so that's good to know that you need to sell it to move on to the next home. And will you price your home to sell?
Yeah, yes, of course. I would like to sell it. I don't want to give it away, but yes, I'd
Oh,
like to
God, you
sell
know, that is so good, because I have never given a home away yet.
it.
And do you want me to handle the sale for you?
Absolutely. I just love the marketing that you dropped off at my
Oh,
house.
fantastic.
The Girl Scout cookies were amazing.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So you said you didn't read the material, but.
I didn't read the material, but the cookies were fantastic.
So, and a couple of things about this section, so this is my first little section, is do you absolutely have to sell the home, or do you have other options? You want to know, a lot of times they won't tell you what they're really thinking in their head. And they might be thinking that the other option could be, yeah, we might do it for sale by owner, we might rent the home, our son might move into the home temporarily. So you really want to ask these questions up front so that you know where you're getting into, basically, and you know how best to help them or not help them. Do you want to handle the sale of your property? Lisa's being very kind, because 90% of the people you meet with or more are going to say, you know, we have somebody else, we have a friend of the family, we're interviewing 3 other agents, so, you know, you need to be ready with the scripts for that, so, you
And
know.
what would you say to that?
So,
I know.
At
What
this
would you
point
say?
right now, I would keep it pretty short and sweet, and I would just say, well, you know what, that's fantastic, because, you know, there's a lot of agents out there, and we all have different things that we offer, and so it's my job today to help you to become completely comfortable and confident that I can sell your home. So,
Okay.
when?
As I believe you.
Thank you. So, Lisa, I have 3 goals today
Okay.
and for this meeting, and I'd like to go over this with you. The first one is, I want you to be crystal clear about the whole process, our marketing that we provide that helps to get our home sold for top dollar,
Okay.
and for the current market conditions, as far as your competition and, you know, what's going on in the area around
Okay.
you, so that
Okay.
you really understand. And then number 3 is that I want to, a goal is to give you your options, or to help you make this, or, sorry, I messed up on that. And the third is your options. And so the first option is that you hire me to sell your home, and that would be great. You choose not to hire me, or I choose not to take your listing. Do you know why I wouldn't take your listing?
No, I mean, I have a beautiful house. I would be a great seller.
Oh, well, you do have a beautiful house. So Lisa, let me tell you, if the price that you have to have, I believe this, if the price that you have to have and what the market will bear have too great of a divide, then I would rather disappoint you now than disappoint you later. And
Okay.
quite honestly, I am not the kind of agent that would just take your listing just to get a listing at an overpriced, and then beat you up on the, reducing that price week after week.
Okay.
You don't want that, do you? It's
No.
not fair to you, and honestly, it's not fair to me either, so that's great. So let's review your circumstances again, and I know you're moving to Texas, and you need to be there by November 1st. Your husband has already started his job, but you said you would like to be there by November 1st.
That would be perfect. So we're there for, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We have time to get the house set up, and
Right.
yeah.
And are you starting the job there, or are you staying at home?
You know what? I'm gonna stay at home.
Okay, great. Okay, and what grade is your daughter going into?
11th.
11th grade. Wow, so that'll be a big adjustment for her, but
It will.
yeah,
So
so
we're hoping to
anyway,
find a nice house in a nice neighborhood with kids
fantastic.
her age.
Okay.
So we can do well.
So, well, hopefully she'll be able to connect really quick, because she'll have the holidays, maybe over the holidays, she'll get a chance to do that. And then you do need to sell the home, and you plan on purchasing a home there.
Yes, I do.
And you did mention that you would really appreciate having a little bit of extra time in the house after
If
you
we
close
could
on this
have
one.
like a whole week after we close to just get everything
Okay.
packed up and moved, that would be great.
Okay, well, the good thing, Lisa, with the market right now is that, buyers have been a little bit more giving when it comes to concessions like that.
Oh, that's great.
When it comes to terms like that. So we will keep that in mind when it comes to negotiating an offer for you. And, and of course, there's always that possibility of multiple offers. And in that case, that will be one thing that we definitely would be able to negotiate in, I'm sure.
That's great, and I'm glad that you're gonna be able to help me with my house here. I'm just really worried about finding an agent in Texas. I don't know anybody in Texas.
Oh my gosh, well, I can certainly help you with that. Let me tell you what we actually have a system for that.
Okay.
With one thing, Keller Williams is huge, and it's all over the world. And in Texas, actually, that's where we're based. So we have probably more agents than anywhere else in Texas. What I do is I have a whole list of questions that I interview agents for you. And I start by actually calling a team leader in the closest market center to where you want to be.
Okay.
And because they're going to know that area the best. And I just, I ask the team leader for some suggestions.
Okay.
And then I also go through all the profiles, and I don't even call an agent until I have looked at their profile. I go to their website, I look at their reviews, and everything. And then once I find a handful of agents that I think would be a good fit for you, I start giving them calls. And you know what? If they get back to me real quick, that's number one.
Okay.
If someone doesn't call me back for a day or two, then they're off the list. Anyway, I vet just the best possible buyer for you, and I'll give you the name of one or two or three that I really feel like would do a great job for you.
Okay.
And then you can also interview them and really make the final decision.
So you'll help me connect with them and help me work the sale of this house.
And it'll be a referral for, and honestly, it'll be a referral for myself, but I have had lots of people that I've referred, and they always appreciate the fact that they end up in good hands, because, like
That's
I said, lots of agents, you could end up in the wrong hands very easily.
Correct.
So, okay. So what one thing needs to happen to make this just an absolute 10+ 5-star experience for you?
I just need guidance and coaching through the whole experience.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm totally overwhelmed. My husband isn't here. He's in Texas. I've got all this stuff to deal with. It's quite a lot.
It is.
So I just feel like my head's gonna explode.
Oh, well, I completely understand. We relocated here years ago, and I still remember that even after all these years. So great. Okay. So just, one thing about our team is that we are very hands-on.
Okay.
And our communication is beyond. Sometimes people tell us, you don't have to call me so quite so much. But better too much, but not enough.
Yeah.
So if you could give me just one more thing that would make this an absolute 10+ experience, what would that be?
Well, the basement right now is, floor to ceiling junk. I don't even know where to start, what to do. Can you help me fix that?
I absolutely can help you fix that. In
Okay.
fact, one of the benefits of using TS Jackson team is that we give our clients all 3 hours with an organizer, a professional organizer.
Oh, that's great.
And 3 hours doesn't sound like much, but boy, I tell you, they are amazing. And,
Okay.
and it helps if you can be down there with them in the basement or whatever areas, and they just, oh my gosh, they just do an incredible job, but they need your input as well.
Okay.
And they give you a little tough love. So it's kind of, it's
And
kind
I
of,
need that. The room's a mess.
yeah. So, there's obviously things you're not going to want to take and things that you do want to take, and they'll
Okay.
help you not only to organize it, but they'll help you to figure out where these things are going to go to, whether you're
Okay.
donating or selling or whatever. They'll give you guidance in that area as well.
That's perfect.
Good. So, well, thank you for sharing that with me. So now I'd like to go through and review your competition, which is the biggest thing, and just the different the comparable properties that have sold in the area and your neighborhood, so that you have a really clear, like I said, crystal clear understanding of how we should position your home to sell.
Okay, great.
So positioning your home on the market is really key to getting top dollar correctly, is really key to getting that top dollar that I'm sure you would like to get to move on to the next
Oh,
house.
definitely.
And the time frame.
Mhm.
Days on market can be anywhere from 3 days all the way to, gosh, I've seen homes sit on the market for 2 years. because they started out too high, and
Yeah.
then what happens is they chase the market. So they kept saying, okay, I need to reduce a little, well, then maybe the market went down a little and they're still too high. And they get stale, you know, you're like bread, you know, if you go to buy a loaf of bread at the store, and a loaf of bread is, you know, that day it's fresh and it might be full price, and then the next day or 2 days later, it's like half price, and you're like, oh, do I really want to bring that bread to my family? That's probably gonna be moldy by tomorrow. So, you know, you wanna have the fresh one on the market, there's a reason.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna review the market, and let's see. So what I brought for you, first of all, is a sheet that basically has all the neighborhoods. There's 4 neighborhoods that are very comparable to your neighborhood that are right in the Walton High School district. And I actually even made it more of a micro view of not just Walton, but even Dickerson Middle School, because once you go to Dodgen, you're, as you know, you're going to that little more northern part.
Correct.
And I think that there's a premium for living on the southern part of East Cobb and Walton because of commutes. You know, being close to the river, you know, there's definitely some benefits to that. So as you can see, there are only 2 active homes in these neighborhoods right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And in those neighborhoods compared to yours. Now, there's a few more homes, just like a sprinkling of more homes, but those are the 2 homes that I would say are most like your neighborhood that people would be looking for.
Wow, those are great prices.
It's amazing. You know, I tell you, this year, more than any other year, my 17 years in real estate has completely surprised that are having a hard time swallowing this. So, you know, but still, even with the fact that the prices have gone crazy, you know, you still have to price your house according to your updates and what you have to offer in your house. So, so for example, in your neighborhood of Tally Green, the you know, there was a home that sold recently for $715,000. I didn't even actually add it on this. I did limit the. Or maybe I did put it on there. I did put it on there. It is on there. I'm sorry. This is everything. So $715,000. Though that house had a full basement, which yours does not. It was 3 sides brick, and yours is synthetic stucco. Yours is in the flood zone. So, you know, there's differences, and those differences make up the difference in that spread in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So what I did was I brought some of the listings that are more similar to your home, which will be a good comparison for you. And quite honestly, the only 2 houses that are active right now out of those 4 neighborhoods are in your neighborhood. There's two active listings right now. One is at $645,000. Again, that one was it was completely updated and has a full basement, only a lot of extra square footage. The other one is listed at $545,000. Okay. And you're probably familiar with that one.
Yes.
It's kind of a soft contemporary. In my opinion, I think your home is much nicer and more appealing because it is a traditional home, and this one is not. And then on top of that, we have 3 homes that are pending right now. And so, do you know what that means when they're pending?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so pending is when they are under contract and they have gotten through the hardest of the contingencies, which is the due diligence period.
Okay.
And so they still might have a financing period to get through, an appraisal period.
Okay.
But during the active under contract period before they become pending, the buyer couldn't leave for no reason at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really, you know, that's the time when you want to make them happy. You're negotiating inspections and things like that. So once they get to pending, you're kind of over that hurdle that you're pretty good to get to closing if we have the correct buyer, which we have a great record of on our team.
Oh, great.
We always make sure we check with the lenders and really, you know, find out their qualifications and everything before you accept an offer.
Okay.
So as you can see, just from this list right here, though, with the 2 actives and the 3 pendings, and then all the rest have closed just in the past 6 months.
Wow, that's a lot.
There's not much.
No, there's not much on the market, but
and you don't have a lot of competition. Yes. Yeah. Well, but this is 6 months worth. I mean, that's not very much for 6 months at this price point. So you know. Right now, there is no better time to sell your home. We still just need to make sure that we position you correctly to make sure that you make that home at $445 look not as good as yours. And then again, that other one is not really your competition. So Let's go ahead and look at some of those. So this is the active listing I was talking about, that's 545.
Okay,
So have you viewed that one online?
I have,
Okay.
I have.
I usually got pictures with me and something happened right before I left and I went to go get my printouts and they weren't there. So usually I would show them the pictures and kind of point out a couple things like, this is their kitchen and if it's, updated or not updated.
And you show it on paper.
Yes, I
That's
showed on
good,
paper,
yeah.
yeah. So, we thought about going to like an iPad or something to, and I have pulled up my computer at times when I have someone who's like a high C and they really want to dive in more to it. But quite honestly, if you go over all this too long, they glaze over.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want to try to keep it short and sweet.
And what's nice
and-
is they have it in their hands when you.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of times they'll even say, can I keep it? You're not really supposed to give them an agent copy because it has private information, private marks and everything. So that's my excuse. I usually say, well, I can't leave you these. I'm happy to send you over all this, I'll email you over the comparable properties that I shared with you today. And I'll email the buyer, which they get the buyer version, you email it to them.
Right, okay.
So, and you really aren't supposed to share those things because they might have like, passwords to get into the house or
Yeah, right.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's some private remarks that you are not supposed to share. So anyway, but I do bring this copy because on this copy, it does show you things that are not on the buyer's copy. And the original list price, when they listed the house, I don't think that's on the buyer copy of one house on the market. I don't know, there's some details there. So before you go to your listing appointment, I always, whatever I'm gonna bring over to them, I always highlight things that I want to. It just makes it easier for me at the appointment to kind of quickly point out like, oh, look at the days on market, or point out the things that you want to. So for example, if a house has more bedrooms and bathrooms than the subject home, you might want to highlight that and just say, well, this home does have, one more bedroom, one more bathroom. So it just makes it easier for you. Really, it's kind of a cheat guide for you to be able to highlight some things. That's why we highlighted things on here. And like these are the homes that we brought with us, the ones that are highlighted. So that, and so anyway, Lisa, and this is the other home that is active in the neighborhood, and that's the one for 645,000.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes,
Okay.
that particular home, though, compared to the other ones that have sold in that price range, does not really have it as, has kind of a sloped backyard. So sometimes those types of conditions of a home that you can't change can actually, make it a little bit more difficult to sell. Though that one is big and, it's really good size. It's over 5,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, because it has the full basement and everything. So anyway, and then as far as a couple of homes that have sold, this is another one in your neighborhood. And this one actually had a tough time selling to start with, and even in this market. And I will tell you the two reasons why. One is that it was overpriced.
Okay.
So it started close to 600,000.
Okay.
And I believe 595, and they did, there were some updates in the house. They had every single room was a completely different color. It was kind of like walking into Starburst. I mean, they were like Starburst colors. It was like yellow and tangerine and green, and so it was funny, none of them were like real bold, old-fashioned colors. They were like Starburst colors. So anyway, I because I previewed that home, and I always preview the homes in Colorado because it's my neighborhood.
Okay.
And as you know, and so anyway, so they started too high without correcting some of the things that should have been corrected. And they sat on the market for quite a while. And actually, in this market when you're sitting on the market, people really start to wonder what is wrong with this home because nothing is sitting on the market. So it was on the market for just 24 days. I think I didn't research on this one today. So if you look back at you'll find if you look back at the that little corner, that's that little icon that's below the main picture. You can pull up the history. You guys all know that in FMLS. And if you look at the history, a lot of times, it depends on how long it goes off the market. They did withdraw for a little bit, so I think they're not showing all their days on market. So what you do is you go get the true days on market and you write it on this sheet, so that when you go to the listing, you can say, this was, the days on market was this. So it might have actually only been 24 because they did withdraw it for a little bit and they got the house painted. So look at all that time they wasted, and that's where you can explain, you learn how to use scripts for carrying costs, because, you don't, depending on their situation, if someone's not in a rush and they're not motivated and the house sits on the market, it might not be bad for them. They don't mind showing their house over and over. But if they have already bought a house or they're under contract for another home and they basically end up with potentially 2 mortgages, your carrying costs become very important. You know,
Yes.
you're paying for your mortgage, you're paying for your taxes, you're paying for your water and your electrical and so, and you have to maintain the home. You know, you move on to the next one, you still got to send someone over to cut the grass, and so carrying costs are huge. So anyway, so Lisa, with what I've shown you today between, you know, this home that sat on the market for a while and was started out, you know, way too high. They ended up reducing it to $559 and it sold for full price. I'm sorry, did not. Yes, it did. $559. They did pay $10,000 in closing costs, and I'm sure the closing costs probably came after they were under contract, and they use that to negotiate repairs.
Okay.
Is usually how it works in this market. So, but they could have asked for some upfront, but anyway, they paid $10,000. So $559 is not the net seller. The actual net seller was $549. And then,
Okay.
so, you know, with that house, and then this house that is, this other house that sold on Carl's Gate Drive at $542, which went a little bit over list price of $540, and it's also a slab, and it's not synthetic stucco like yours, though it's not brick. It's a frame home, and the frame is yeah, and it's you know, the original frame from 40 years ago. So it's you know, I would kind of consider it to be pretty equal to your house in that case, and square footage and everything. It pretty matches up pretty well to your house. So this one did sell very well, very quickly, and again, that was priced at $540.
Okay.
So, so in my opinion, and you know, ultimately it is your choice on what you list your home for. This one at $540, and I feel like yours has a large bonus room that this one doesn't have, and a couple other features. I think that, you know, the yard and everything I think is much better for your house. So I would say if you went at a solid hard price point of $550. That you would still be, you know, lower in the neighborhood compared to the homes with basements. And the good thing about it is that you would pull buyers from both sides. So everybody looking from 5 to 550 and 550 to 6 would have eyes on your home.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. So, you know, more buyers means more views and potentially multiple offers.
So why wouldn't you list it at $555?
Well, just to kind of go back on what I just said is that what if you list at $555, can you tell me first of all, how do you view homes online? I know, I'm sure you're looking in Texas right now. How do you pull the homes? What price point do you pull?
I usually pull 600,000 less.
All the way down, or do you do like 550 to 6? Or?
Maybe 550 to 6, yeah.
You do, okay. So that's great. So like if you were looking for a 555 home, it would show up for you.
Yes.
Right. So what if you were looking for a 540 home and you were priced at 555?
I'd totally miss it.
You would totally miss it. And you might miss a home that actually could potentially become your home, or maybe you can actually go to 550. But you know, you can go to 550, but you don't want to, you're hoping not to stretch it, but then you see that perfect home for 550. So, and I tell you, there's even people who are, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars below what they can really do.
Okay.
And when they find the right home, and they don't find the right home in the price point they want, but they do find the right home and just a little bit higher, and it's more renovated. I mean, it kind of like, it only makes sense that you would just go for the house that already has the updated kitchen and everything, right?
Great.
And not have to go through that. So, okay.
So 550 works for me.
It does, great. Okay. So when I list your home for 550, and hopefully we'll bring in lots of buyers from both sides, and I think that we will.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that we're going to have great results with that.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Those are embedded commands. Who does embedded? Do you guys know about embedded commands yet? I mean, I know you do, but.
I know about that, you did it very well.
That was awesome.
I didn't realize that until,
So the embedded command was when you list your home with me. So anyway, and you kind of throw it in there, and you know, now occasionally you'll get the person that'll object right at that moment, and they'll say, well, I haven't decided whether I'm going to list my home with you. And you kind of just like sort of laugh it off and say, yeah, we're not finished yet. You know? Okay. Okay, So I'm glad that you feel comfortable with how we're gonna proceed with the pricing on your home. I think you're gonna be positioned just perfectly. And
How many days do you think it's gonna take to sell my house?
well, on average right now, homes are taking anywhere from 3 to 9 days to sell. So, but our average is actually 3 days, where our average is 3 days on the market and 3 to 4 days. And the only reason why actually is because we'll receive some offers a lot of times in the first couple of days.
Okay.
When we're going to the market on Thursday, we have a whole system on how we go on, which we're about to go over.
Oh, okay, great.
And so we like to go through the weekend, which, gives you an extra day or two on the market, though it's because we want to make sure that we get you the best offer.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, so now we're gonna go over the marketing a little bit, and I know you didn't have much of a chance to look at it, so I'll just show you a couple of things. And quite honestly, probably the most important thing we do is that my operations manager is fantastic with technology and
Okay.
social media. So we do a big focus on social media because quite honestly, everybody is looking at social media now. And
Okay.
so we do Facebook advertisements. So it's not just posting your picture, your house on our page, which we do, but we also do the ads. And what the ads do is they're targeted to go out to the buyers that are looking for homes in our area.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be looking at their little Facebook, feed, and boop, your house will pop up.
That sounds great.
And of course, it picks up by the algorithms that, that know who's looking for a house in Walton, or, who's looking for a home in this price range in East Colorado.
Okay.
So the social media is very important, and we put a big focus on that. Then we
Okay.
do a lot of the pretty stuff that buyers love. So when they come to actually view your home, we do a brochure that you haven't pulled out yet, but thank you. We do a four-sided brochure that is with the professional pictures we have taken, and then we have it professionally printed at a local printer that does a beautiful job. And the nice thing about that is that it has because it does reflect all the best places in your home and your best features. When a buyer gets back in the car and they're glazed over from looking at 7 homes that day,
Yeah.
and their agent says, "Which home did you like the best?" They're going to remember all the great features about your house because they have it in their hand. And quite honestly, little paper flyers that most agents use, they get in the car and, like they're just, they're not special.
Yeah.
They don't do that with this. I mean, it's
Okay.
like, this feels like, wow, this is special to get this, So I think that it just helps the buyer to reinforce what they
Okay.
felt when they went to your house.
Great.
Then we also,
Can I ask a question?
sure,
Because the way houses are flying off the
we
market,
still do.
do you get them back before you go under contract?
Because the plan is, now I will
Okay.
tell you, there's been times when either our printer, the printer that we use is like really busy and doesn't get them back in time, but we always we beg, we send them over. So what happens, here's our process, and I'll explain to all of you right now our process. So the process that we do to make sure that we get the most activity on your house is that we put it out there with a bang.
Okay.
And it starts with doing a coming soon with, and sometimes they have to be our personal pictures. So
Okay.
if we put them out like Wednesday evening, we'll have the professional pictures back. So we'll do that with the 2,000 plus agents that are in our Rawls group.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's kind of like they get the special, they get a little special sneak peek, and they feel very honored by that. And believe me, we sell more homes than any other company in the city.
Mhm.
So out of 2,000 agents, you better believe that there's a lot of people that have buyers for your home.
Oh, great.
And we always get a lot of feedback, we put it out on the Facebook posts and everything. So then we, once your home is all prepared, and we'll talk about how we do that, is that our system is that I stage your home on Tuesday, and this is after you've done, things that you need to do. Stage your home on Tuesday, photographs on Wednesday. We get those back by noon on Thursday. We put your house on the market Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
And that way we give all the buyers out there in Zillow Land and anywhere else that they're looking at homes online or through their agents on MLS, it gives them all an opportunity to see your home and make
nice.
arrangements with their agent or with us if they're not with an agent to look at your home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We do let everybody know kind of up front that if we start hearing that we're receiving offers in the first couple of days, we go ahead and we just tell the agents, and then once we do, we put it in writing. But at first we let agents know that we're supposed to be receiving offers. And that we promise that if they leave it on the table, their offer on the table, that we will get back to them by Monday. So
Okay,
does that sound good to you?
That sounds
It's really
great.
your decision, but this process has worked to get us the highest, dollar for our clients and the best
okay,
terms.
that sounds great.
So, anyway, so we do back-to-back open houses the first weekend. So like I said, we go out with a bang. Because the time of your house being on the market that you are gonna make the most amount of money is in the first 2 weeks. And right now, I would say it's really the first week.
Okay,
In the past, we've always said 2 weeks. I think it's 1 week now. So it's kind of like if you're stale bread after a week, so that's why we have to position you correctly, go out with
Okay.
that bang, do all that social media marketing.
Okay.
And we do get, so we send this over to our printer as soon as we get the photographs back. We basically have the marketing kind of like this is, in our marketing, with our marketing, we go ahead and get everything ready. So we're just popping pictures in when they come back.
oh, okay, great.
So it's ready to go. And basically we get the pictures back, pop them in, and then, within an hour, we have it over to the printer. So when we really do, we devote like that whole day to get you out with a bang.
Okay,
And we devote the whole weekend. We do what we call circle prospecting. So we will we'll door knock if possible, depends on where we're at with COVID and everything, but we'll door knock or at least call around your neighborhood.
okay, great.
And if you have a directory for your neighborhood, and you're willing to share it, we could really do it. We could really do it right.
Okay, great.
So we would be happy to email out to your whole neighborhood, the flyer, invite them to the open houses. Because you know what? A lot of times neighbors have friends that they want to move to their neighborhood. So
Absolutely.
sharing it with them and getting your neighbors over to your open house is always a great idea. So and this is just you have the package, but a couple other samples of things that we do. Agent caravan, there's a good chance we will not need one of these.
Okay.
So I just want you to know that we are willing to do it and we love to do them. If for some reason your home did get past that 1 or 2 week period because there was a drastic shift in the market,
Okay,
and it's always the market of the moment, and we are always ready for that change.
okay,
We're
great.
always going to keep you up to date on that change. So, and then there's also a distinctive features page in this home book that we leave at the home. And here's the home book, and it basically has all the information that a buyer could want about your home.
Okay,
The school information, restaurants in the area, just everything. And we put this in every single home, no matter what the price range is.
oh, okay.
And the cool thing is that once we have a lot of this in place, when we're ready for an appraisal, because we've already gone through the comps. We already know that. We've shared with you and priced your home accordingly to
Okay.
what it should be at. And we have a feature page and everything else that I can meet the appraiser
Okay.
always and share all this information with him. And they're so busy right now that anything that you could share with them that they might not have information on, they appreciate.
And this is a lot of statistical information on the schools, which is good.
It is. And this area is very school driven, so that's why we do a big focus on the school section of that book.
Nice.
And a lot of people are coming from in town or out of state, or they're kind of new to it. They're just
Including restaurants. This is wonderful.
Yes, yeah, and I tell, when I know an agent's coming from like Buckhead or something like that, I'll say, hey, make sure you look at that last page because it has restaurants, and just in case you guys are in the area for a while, you might want to stop into one of them.
Nice.
So anyway, so we've gone through the marketing and, as far as we've pretty much gone through the whole process, but I just do want you to know that when it comes to contract to close, first of all, vetting the right buyer, like we said,
Okay.
we have a whole system around multiple offers. So we will make sure that you really understand all of the different offers so that you can make a really good decision.
Okay,
And then, and we talk to all the lenders as well. And once we're under contract, we have a really great, we have a lot of systems.
okay,
And our systems are what make everything go so smooth. So it's a benefit to you to have all those systems that we have in place. So basically, once you go under market, we have to sell your home 3 times. Or 2 more times, I should say. And so the second time is when we get the amendment to discuss with all the requests for the repairs.
okay,
And then the third time is for the appraisal. So we're very experienced in helping you, and we'll help you to negotiate the very best situation for both of those. And just know that you're not obligated to do anything. You're not
Okay.
obligated to make any repairs.
Okay.
Now, of course, the goal is to get to the closing table. So, if they ask for some little things, then, you would probably want to be negotiable on it, though you're not obligated. So I do want you to know that up front.
Okay.
And when we have multiple offers, we really work at getting a backup offer so that, it kind of gives us a little leverage with the one that's
It
primary
sounds
at
like
the
it,
time.
yeah.
So
Okay.
we're like, well, we have a backup offer. Yeah, so we know with the multiple offer situation, we almost always get somebody as backup.
Perfect.
And if it was to fall through, which a lot of buyers get cold feet with what they're paying for homes right now, then
Yeah.
we just go right into the next contract. You really don't even go off the market, or
Perfect.
back on the market. So I just want to tell you, Lisa, our promise to you is that we always strive to give our clients a truly 5-star experience. We promise to always put you, our client, first in every situation throughout the whole process from the start to the finish line. And PS Jackson team understands that there are thousands of agents out there and that we are very honored that you chose us and gave us the opportunity to serve you in selling your greatest asset, your home. And in return for that, Lisa, I just have two favors to ask of you.
Okay.
Okay, great. So the first one is that we just really value your feedback. And to get feedback, to have our clients give us feedback, what we do is we send you over a link when it gets close to the closing day. And we just ask that you write a review for us. And that really helps us. And it also helps people in the future to, who are interested in finding an agent. It gives them reviews to read on the different scenarios that have happened and how we've helped you through them and everything. So does that sound good?
That sounds fine. I'm great at
Great.
filling out surveys and reviews.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Lisa, so much. And the second thing is that the favor I have to ask of you is that, when you're going to be listing your home or buying a home or anything, you start hearing everybody comes out of the woodwork like, oh, we've been thinking about that. Or, and you start hearing about your friends, your colleagues, your family members that have all thought about moving.
Yeah.
And if you would do us a favor to make sure that they end up in the same excellent hands and care that you did, if you would please get their permission to pass on their information to me, we would really appreciate it. And
I'd be happy to do that for you.
oh, thank you so much. So by the time we close, we know that you're probably going to hear of some people. So we're counting on you, Lisa.
All right. I'll do the best I
Thank you.
can.
Yeah, we work by referral. That's 90% of our business. So
That's great.
thanks. Yeah. So anyway, well, I really appreciate it. So you know what? I said we have 3 goals, and I think we've stayed on track really well. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Where do I sign?
Oh, good.
Okay, Brian signal, she's done. Where do I sign? Right here.
So, and I would be probably the one saying that, but it's lovely that she said it, but, so that's where my last thing on there is our decision, is, okay, so now we come to the time that we're making the decision about whether we're going to work together. And Lisa, honestly, I think since on my side, you are very agreeable on positioning your home correctly.
Yes.
And also you guys are just great and have a great home and everything. And I would love to represent you. Would you like to be represented by us?
I would love for you to help us with this process.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, you know what? I brought all the paperwork with me so that we can get started right now.
Let's go. Yeah. Really good.
And then you pop the cork.
So do you guys have,
We're gonna hire you for Martha Stewart, Hallmark.
what?
Martha Stewart, double.
Martha
Martha
Stewart.
Stewart films like being an actress and she looked like Martha
Oh.
Stewart.
Oh, okay. Except without the prison term. Every time I see her, I always think about how she was out of prison.
So I do have a question.
Okay.
So, in this situation, because her husband was traveling, is not there, and you're saying,
Yes.
let's sign right here, how do you handle that?
Oh, you know what? I forgot about honestly, and we didn't, come, and it depends on who's on the title too.
Recently. I had one of those
Yeah, so
recently.
I would do is I would have her sign it.
And then just upload it and then e-sign it.
Yeah.
E-sign it.
That's
Yeah.
not a biggie.
I just wanted to make sure I understood. So
Yeah,
basically, you
sign
have
it.
her sign then.
Yeah, I have
And
her
then
sign
you
that. You
go
want
ahead.
to do your best to get a signature in person.
Right here.
Yeah, and we go ahead and we fill everything. The only thing I don't fill out is the time frame and I don't fill out the time. We didn't really talk about that either. So many things that you
Or
talk
the
about.
price, because you
Well, we
can't.
did discuss
Oh, I don't
price.
fill out the price.
You don't
Right.
type in the price.
Right,
You
and I
fill
will
it out.
tell you also, we fill this in, but we just always fill this in, but Sherry or Rispy will suggest that you don't even fill the commission in. And that is really just for legal purposes of keeping you from having a set commission.
Yeah.
And so she always says, that's negotiable, you should fill it in. So that's really, it's up to you guys, but that is what the preference is of the office for compliance.
Okay, great.
For not filling it in.
Do not fill it in ahead of time, because you're supposed to be
Oh,
able to
ahead of
negotiate.
time.
Ahead of
Oh,
time,
okay,
but
okay.
you do
That was my
fill it in.
question.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
I was confused too. I was like,
Is there any questions from?
Well, you didn't actually go over commission, is that something that you?
Well, I don't bring it up unless they bring it up, quite honestly.
I don't either. I don't bring it up
Yeah.
either unless they bring
So,
it up.
I
okay.
mean, it's on the listing agreement, so when we actually, I go through the listing agreement with them, especially the first page and then a couple of
Yeah.
key points throughout the, but very little, I don't go over it a ton, but if they're like a high C, which is, the, are you high C?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if your person wants to read everything, and they might not even sign that day, they might say, I really need to read this, and I'll say, you know what, I completely understand, let's go ahead and, and there's agents that will even say, why don't we go ahead and sign, but, just so you know that if tomorrow you decide that, you don't like what you read, or you don't want to list your home with me, then I will come over and I'll rip it up for you. So, so it's up, there's so many agents have so many different, different ways that they handle it. I've never been too pushy at the end, and you're gonna learn that you should close and close and close, and that has not been my style. So I'm
Going forward, you're doing a great job. This is great.
thank you. And honestly, there's some people that you're meeting with and they're giving you all these objections, and me personally, and 17 years, and I'm sure the two of you with all your experience would agree with this, is that sometimes when you get this feeling up front, they're gonna be difficult. They are difficult. And you know what, if you don't get the listing, you're kind of like,
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
yes.
someone who didn't agree on price, guys. True story. I've had a couple of these. I met with one couple that was referred to me, and their house. This is a time when houses weren't selling so easily, and they wanted this high price, and they didn't want to do anything. And I felt bad because they were referred to me, so I felt kind of guilty that that what they ended up doing is that they went with another agent from another company. And that house was on the market for like at least 2 years. I kept watching it. And I have another one. There's one that's in, if you look up history, there was a guy that I interviewed with in Hampton Lake that his house was on the market. Do you remember what house I'm talking about? That cul-de-sac? And he kept saying it has a lake view, but it was on the side of his house and the windows through the woods. Like he might have a little picture view if you get on his roof.
Right?
So anyway, that house also, like same thing. Oh my gosh, that house was on the market for at least 3 years. He had at least 5 different agents. He didn't hire me because I was truthful with him.
Yeah.
And so that's that section of the which I don't actually have written down in there because that's just something you have to memorize. But what do I do with that? But I did write it all out. If you want to copy that, if you want to make a copy of this for them, but. Basically, the only reason I couldn't take your listing is, because of that divide, and then, you want me to be completely honest with you. Steve Count told me another thing to say this morning, which I said, I'm not gonna try to switch this up right now, but he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how honest do you want me to be with you today? And then, and of course they're gonna say 10, I mean, they're just gonna say, I just want you to be half honest.
Lie a little bit.
So they're gonna say 10, and then, so then you say, well, if anything makes you unhappy or uncomfortable today, you'll know that I'm being honest with you with a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So, if they're uncomfortable because you're telling them the price is 25,000 lower than what they thought that they could get, then they, that's making them uncomfortable. And sometimes they won't hire you or you won't hire them because of it, and that's okay. Let someone else go through the pain with them of having their sign in front of the house, collecting bird droppings for 6 months. My goal is to get it down before the birds get to it.
So
Sorry.
I do have one question, or a couple questions. So at the time that you're doing your consultation, your presentation with the seller, you do put down the commission, you do put down the price on that listing agreement, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Now, I still, I'll talk to them about it. It depends on how quickly they're going on the market too, because I do a lot of things that some agents don't do, and it's, some people would think I'm nuts and other people would think, I should do that. I spend a lot of times getting people ready for the market, and even in this market, I mean, I just put a house on in Princeton Lakes that we originally thought we'd only put on for about 600, and the market was so crazy and everything, and they put $80,000 into their house. Now, they put more in than I even wanted them to, but
Yeah.
my contractor actually referred them to me, so he was already basically hired to do the work. And so I helped her pick out lighting and flooring and paint, and I got them to go from beige walls to alabaster white, because they had kind of a beautiful big renovated kitchen that they had expanded out, so it was like not like a Princeton Lakes kitchen, but brown granite and and dated cabinets and everything. So I got them to put new sod in the yard. They were going to paint the cabinets, which probably would have cost $6,000 or $7,000. I said, I would rather you see this amazing backyard you have new grass instead of weeds, and they did it. So they spent like $5,500, which was less than painting the cabinets, on the backyard, because backyards sell in certain areas.
Yeah.
If you're in town, the backyard's not as big of a deal, but if you're in East Cobb or West Cobb or
you want
whatever, people
backyard.
want the yard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we spent like, gosh, 5 or 6, like 5 months, I guess, getting the house ready.
Wow.
And then, so we put it on, and by the time it was done, it just looked so stunning. And they didn't have a basement or a bonus room, so it was kind of like, oh, do we risk putting it on? What?
I said, it looks so fantastic that they didn't want to move.
Oh, they said that the whole time. They kept saying, we just want you to know that, and I said, you know what, that's an option. But the truth is that, you do want to move, and whether it's right now or a year from now, the market may be completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm sure you don't. So, it's really up to you whether you want to risk that, because honestly, you could put all this money into it, and then it's also going to be a year older. White paint might not be in next year.
Right.
It's going to be a year more used, and you could get 10% less. So it's really up to you. And she repeated that back to me when we went to lunch after closing. She goes, the one thing that really stuck with me about selling my house right now is how much sense that made, that it could be drastically different. So
Absolutely.
it resonates with them.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to sound like you want them to list because you just want the sale. So I said, you know what, that makes sense. I mean, you know what, if you don't have to move and you love your house, then that is an option. But here's what could happen. So then they feel like you're being completely honest with them. So, but anyway, that house sold for $680.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
it's really not. This is just recently, and there really wasn't that many buyers out there anymore. So we didn't have 20 offers, but we did have 6 offers, and it only takes one good one. So
That's it.
That's
And I swear, I would rather have 6 offers than 20.
oh my gosh, you guys, it's so much
Yeah.
work to have 20 offers.
Yeah, it's too much.
But here's off the listing appointment thing though, is please all be so ethical and so kind when you do get multiple offers on your listing, because I just went through, I just called an agent the other day, and my client ended up not making an offer, and I was so grateful because this agent was just completely rude. I left the house. I knew she had multiple offers because she already had a time limit in the system, and I left the house and I gave her a call and I left her a message, and I said, hey, my clients love your beautiful listing. You really want to sell it when there's competition. They love your beautiful listing. They have a couple of questions. Can you please give me a call back? And she never called back. So I texted her the next morning, and she didn't text me back right away. And it was like 2 hours later, she sent me a text that said, I'm just slammed. Can you just text me? I left her a message in the morning again. And she said, I'm just slammed. Can you just text me? Didn't put her name, didn't say I'm so sorry, nothing. It was just the rudest text. And I know she didn't probably mean it, but texting can come across very rude if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So you need to talk. You need to talk in a text like you do in person, and just I would love to help you. I'm so sorry. I'm running into an appointment.
Exactly right.
And make them feel like they're valuable to you, because they are valuable to you. Because it might not be this house, but it could be another house that they don't bring a buyer to because they're like, that agent's a nightmare. So,
Yeah, and you'll find that you're gonna keep running into these same
Yes.
agents over and over.
She was in my phone actually from like
Over
10
again.
years ago.
Be nice, be nice.
Yeah.
Because the ones who work, we always work.
Yes.
So we always run into each other.
Yeah.
And if you can't, if you're so slammed that you can't do it, you know what? Call one of your buddies at the office or somebody and just say, hey, can you help me out for like 2 hours today? Can you please call these agents back? Whatever it is, get help, because no matter what, if you can give them help, then they really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Do y'all want to look at the book at all, or?
The book is amazing. Now, do you have
So how do you do this book?
We have the
We
machine
have a
here,
machine here.
and we sell these here,
Yes.
which we fought tooth and nail to get back, because they were gonna cancel them. Did you know that? Yeah,
Cancel
so they're like,
They were going to.
they're
we're
like
going to.
$6 each. And some of my clients actually asked to keep them, and I gave them to them,
Yeah.
and then we keep the extras for, we either reuse the book, because you could pull them out, and we ordered some little
Oh,
glue
you can
strips
pull
on.
them out?
You can pull the pages out.
Stop
They're
it.
not-
So you can get, you can order little glue strips online, so we've been reusing them again.
Really?
So I think
This is
some of the
what
nice
this whole
ones-
class.
That's what I was
Well, they don't know, they think that you like have this book published.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking like, do you do that for every single?
Nobody ever asked how you have.
But you can
it's
take them out and put them
Yeah,
back.
well, I tell you, and when you walk
Personalize it.
into like
That's
a
incredible.
$200,000 listing and you show them what you're gonna do, they're
Yeah.
like, you're gonna do this for my house?
That's so neat.
Like, of course, you're
Very nice.
just as important as, $1 million home, all my clients are important.
That's
You know,
very-
everyone-
that's awesome.
And
That's
this
very
$200,000 person might have the $1 million brother that
Exactly.
they refer to you next year.
That's fabulous. I didn't even know we had that.
Can y'all thank Patty?
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having all practice, I appreciate that.
Appreciate
It
it.
was very helpful.
You did well.
What is
So now, do you have this on your computer?
Yes.
So you
Questions online, on the Zoom.
Oh, sorry, anybody have any questions? Hey, Zoya, Regina, Terry Ann, hey there.
Hey, and Connie was on, she just.
Hey, Ben.
Hi.
Mother's
There
Day,
you go. They're
Kevin.
not really.
All